In the major thing with that I hear the most is the kids, and I don't know if California's one. I know Washington's one where, the state can come in and basically take your kid if you're against gender affirming care.
Yeah, there's some nuanced language and around that. There are about 21 states, by the way, just on California's hardly, again, it's not the only, everyone. Back to California.
Watch Gavin Newsom malfunction on air after Shawn Ryan asks him a key question. Folks, Gavin Newsom is insane, all right? He's constantly, acting like, hey, I'm Gavin. I'm reasonable. I like everybody. Doing this slick politician thing. And amazingly, some people fall for it. I mean, clearly enough to elect him governor of California, after all. It is sickening. With all that being said, folks, we're going to get right into it. It's going to be a lot of fun. But first, do me a huge favor here. Like our video and share it around. That way, we can keep bringing you all this great, hard-hitting content. As always, Patriots, I'm your host, Darian, and this is Resist the Mainstream.
In the major thing that I hear the most is the kids, and I don't know if California's one. I know Washington's one where, the state can come in and basically take your kid if you're against gender affirming care.
Yeah, there's some nuanced language and around that. There are about 21 states, by the way, just on California's hardly, again, it's not the only, everyone. Back to California, but about 21 states that tend to operate in this space similarly, with sort of variants along the same rules. And obviously California is one of them. But no, look, hey, I didn't even mean to cut you off, except to say, there's no doubt this issue, I thought it played a very significant and outsized role in the last election. I thought that and by the way, I told Chris that and Susie when I was at the White House. Susie Wiles, the chief of staff, and Chris, who ran the campaign and a lot of the media, when I was over at the White House earlier this year, we had a conversation around the trans issue, which was fascinating. I wish that one was recorded. And then I met with the president right after, who was in the middle of a press conference as we were talking on the topic, and began a 90-minute meeting I had with him in the Oval talking about this very issue, where he said what I just said about you got abortion. And I was like, come on, man, it's not politics. There's human beings here, but I get it. I get the politics, but it's also about human beings.
Politics is about human beings, dummy. What are you even trying to say right now? All right, it's about how they get along together in a society and how those moral laws are enforced. So I don't even know what point he's trying to make. Also, speaking of human beings, what do you think abortion does, Gavin? Who's the victim there? Not a trick question. Also, what is with this air hands thing this guy's doing? Really creepy, really weird.
But that ad, that trans ad, Kamala's for they, them, Trump's for you or something. That was powerful. And it was an unforced error of the Harris campaign not to push back on it. But they had they had a few moves to push back because it was what it was. That gender affirming care was afforded under a lawsuit when she was AG, and part of the settlement compelled that the state had to move forward to allow for it. And it was a circumstance with an undoc person that was incarcerated that got the gender affirming care. Everything about it just met the political moment. And the fact that she defended it on a video only reinforced the vulnerability. And so they kept running the ad over and over and over again. It was incredibly impactful. And as just, again, removing the humanity, right versus wrong, the morality on either side, politically, it is a major problem for the Democratic Party.
Newsom is clearly trying to play the I'm a moderate, I'm the reasonable guy card here. And it's just so nauseating to watch. I can't stand it. And, I don't know how many people are going to fall for it. I have a feeling they won't be. But notice what he said earlier. Oh, well, about 21 states are doing it. California's one of them. He's trying to suggest that because a lot of states have done it, it is normal. Guess what? A lot of our states in this country are run by sick and evil people. Okay, it literally is that simple. So this idea that because it's common, it's somehow good or okay or normal, no. Okay, maybe it's normal in the sense that it's common, but that's not a good thing. Single parenthood is very common in America. In fact, we're #1 in the world. That means it's normal, it's okay. Of course not.
What about for your values? I mean, is 8 years old too young?
Yeah, I mean, look, I now that I have a 9-year-old, just became 9. Come on, man, I get it. So those are legit. You know, it's interesting. Just the issue of age. I haven't. It's interesting. I'm as someone that's been so focused on equality, broadly LGBT rights, particularly gay marriage. The trans issue for me is also novel. It's over the last few years. I'm trying to understand as much as anyone else. Whole pronoun thing, trying to understand all of that. Well, you know, that was like the hell. I mean, all that stuff. I get it. All this stuff started to collapse on us. I joked with Charlie about Latinx. You know, I remember walking into my staff. I started using the word Latinx a few times. And then my chief of staff, who happens to be Hispanic, goes, "Would you shut up?" I'm like, "What?" She goes, "Who uses that word?" I said, "I don't know." She said, "My whole staff said, do not ever use that word again." I'm like, "What's going on?" I was like, "Okay." And they literally stopped. I'll never forget. I was like, "Whoa." We were on this sort of Zoom conversation, and literally my Hispanic chief of staff is like, "Shut up." And so I'm like, we were all kind of like, those meetings where my pronouns and everyone goes across. So all this was sort of, I think, post-George Floyd, post-COVID, we kind of came out. And there was obviously this rights movement post-George Floyd, which you got to understand, on the basis of what occurred and all the social unrest. And there was a natural inclination then to try to course correct. But it was across the spectrum of issues, including increasingly on the issues of how we talk, communicate, how politically correct and sensitive people started becoming, use of language, pronouns, and then issues around the trans community. And
we have this ridiculous sensitivity because of people like you, Gavin, okay? Let's not forget, when you first became governor of California in 2018, not long after, a law was passed in the state that would literally threaten jail time for certain groups of people if they use the wrong pronoun or something like that. Okay, so ditch the whole fake moderate shtick. It's so irritating. I can't stand it.
And this notion of gender affirming care for children. That's tough, man. And the science on that, I haven't dove that deep into it, but I read one report and then there's one that's slightly contradictory, and then they said there's no contradictory. Here's what the UK just came out with. You're full of shit. It's absolutely scientifically sound that it's outrageous, and so it's intense.
Here's some dang science for you, man. Let kids grow up without performing a sex change on them that they can't consent to. How's that for some science? All right, I'm gonna relax now. Blood pressure's a little bit up, but that's okay. Folks, I really appreciate you tuning in. What'd you all think? All right, comment below. Let us know what you thought about the video, what kind of stuff you want to see in the future. And if you have not already, hit that subscribe button so we can see you again soon. And to those returning subscribers, thank you so much and welcome back. God bless, Patriots.